Today is July 15th, 2026. Today I'm going to be doing a trade review today. So, if you can look at these executions, they're at around 11. Not my brightest day, but overall, I ended up 120 points and $170 in profit today. I did not have a pre-market analysis today simply because I wasn't even supposed to trade today. There was no reason for me to trade simply because I was doing stuff last night and I wasn't going to get enough sleep to be able to be focused and on the markets today. But I broke that rule. I woke up at around 10, and then after I got ready for the day, quickly got on the charts on my phone trying to see a setup. And it was just from there I entered I was inside of the range. You can see right there. I was inside of a range when I first entered a short because I looked at price and I thought, okay, Monday's high got taken out, and then this was after CPI, and normally I see that every time CPI say it pumps, the next day is always going to start dumping. And it's honestly not a good reason for me to enter at all, but that was just what I was thinking about at the time. I had the fact that CPI is known to do that on the next day, and I already had Monday's range taken out, so I could expect shorts. And with that, I like the fact that 2 a.m.'s range, it got closed, and to me that shows in the higher time frame that, okay, price wants to continue to go lower. So those are the only three things that I had, and that was the reason why I entered. On the 15-minute or on the 5-minute, there was this fair value gap. I don't know if that was an SMTF. Let me check. So it was an SMTF. YM didn't trade into it, but ES and NQ did. So for me, I was right here. I saw this and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use that. I placed my stop right here the first time, and I wanted to see price go lower. And honestly, I could have just stayed there. Price didn't reach higher from there, but this is where all of my emotions started to come in, because around here I was literally about to get stopped any second. My risk is on a 50K. I always risk on any account. I only risk 0.25% of the account balance. I normally don't worry about that, but today I was freaked out because I already had it in the back of my head that I'm not even supposed to trade today. So if I take this loss, that's just an unforgivable loss, because I would have been fine if I had just not gone on the charts. And I set limits to $250 so that I wouldn't be able to make that money back. So I got out around here when I was down $230. I got on Tradeovate and turned off that limit solely because, again, I entered and I placed my stop on top of the SMTF. And then I entered this. This was about, it was 200 points. I'm pretty sure. I entered like around the middle of that candle. I had my stop here. I wanted to see Monday's low taken out again, even though it already did get taken out back here. And that's the reason this weekly market maker buy model even played out. But I wasn't thinking that. I didn't notice that at first. Because this is all I was looking at on my phone. And then I entered here, and honestly, I just got lucky. I don't think there was even sequential up there when I entered. Because if I go back here, there was daily at the highs, but not here. There was no, I don't even think there was micro up there when I entered. Never mind. There was micro. So, but yeah, overall, it wasn't a terrible short, but it just wasn't my model. If I woke up early and did everything right, this should have been my trade right here. And even then, actually, this wouldn't even have been my trade because it's before 10 a.m. So I would be right here. This would have been the ideal short for me. Continue off, price already running into 50% of this range. Because to me, it doesn't have to take it out. It already took out 50%. So it wouldn't have been a bad idea for me to go short, knowing that higher time frame was bearish, structure was clearly getting ready to start being bearish. This would have been the ideal short for me right here. A run into this, and then a short lower down to probably Monday's low. But I didn't take that because I was entering at 11 instead. I wasn't planning to trade. So, and then all of this happened. I mean, I did have, 5-minute cracking correlation, microcycle, daily cycle supporting the short. But the reason I'm upset about today is not even because there was a good reason for that trade to play out, but mainly because I didn't know that was even there. Because if I knew that all those things were supporting that short when I took it, then I would let it slide, because it's not the model I'm trading, it's something that I know how to trade. And I know it was high probability. It would just be an overall continuation. This was just consolidation to keep going lower until reach its target. But I was not thinking that. I entered off nothing good, and I'm just very disappointed in myself for even entering anything, honestly. I should have just took the day off and ignored everything, and then I would have been fine. But that didn't happen. I obviously had to enter when I wasn't supposed to. Or my execution is not showing. Or it doesn't matter. But yeah, overall, when I took that short, I really wanted to see Monday's low for some reason, but I wasn't looking out. I only realized that it wasn't going to happen with how strong it was displacing higher out of nowhere. Like, that told me, like, okay, because I got out at around here. I was like, okay, I'll take whatever I got from that short. Ideally, I wanted to get out there, but then a little later in the day, around here. I entered long, I stopped out. I had a tight. I was doing extremely tight stops because I didn't want to lose anything that I made on that day. Despite it, to me, feeling like dirty money, I didn't want to take those trades, but I still took them. I had no control over myself. All I was thinking about was the money, and that's why I'm very disappointed this whole week. Just nothing but terrible trades. Because if I had just followed my model, this would have been an amazing short. I wouldn't have taken it if I actually followed my rules and said that I wasn't going to trade today because I wouldn't have enough sleep. And then, like, it is just very hard to see that because I know all these concepts. I'm pretty decent at understanding narrative. I knew it was going to be short, but I didn't know when or how. Ideally, I would want to see manipulation higher, but even then, it didn't have to manipulate because it already did it overnight, taking out Monday's high. It manipulated enough, this accumulation over and over, and then right at market open, around market open, that was the manipulation, taking out all those highs. Then just to start the real distribution lower in a higher time frame bearish market. So it is starting to piss me off a bit that like I know these things like but I only pay attention to it at the end of the day. Like what it's 4 o'clock for me right now. Like it sucks that I do all my analysis later in the day, but never in the morning. Because I know how to do this. Like if I was right here, who knows, I probably wouldn't have taken this short at all because it didn't manipulate 2 a.m.'s high. And then I would have ignored the fact that it took that out. But I would have avoided all of this, and then the quick reverse, all the stupid entries that I took later. So, overall, just another very undisciplined day. I'm officially done. I'm deleting. I said I was gonna delete TradingView off my phone, but now I really mean it. I deleted it right before turning on this recording. But yeah, I feel like I really did get lucky today too because there was just like I had no idea price was just gonna start trading lower. I did see that micro when it formed, I do remember, but that just wasn't on my mind. Like I was just mindlessly entering, and I realized that now, like most of these bad trades, because if I look back at on the 14th, the same trades that I took and not paying attention, mindlessly going, all of these happen when I haven't been awake for at least an hour. So I'm gonna like, that's actually a really good rule I'm gonna add to myself. Just I cannot I cannot enter a trade if I have not been awake for at least an hour. And I read about this somewhere that your brain fully wakes up after an hour. So there's no reason for me to trade anything when my mind isn't even fully woken up because the thing is I just can't be I really have to think deep like I cannot be doing anything that profitable me wouldn't do. Today, profitable me would not be doing this. If he said he would get off the charts, he would. because there's no reason to trade. There's always going to be another day. And I said that before I went to sleep, that it's fine to not trade on Wednesday because it's going to be Thursday and Friday next week. And it's just going to keep going. So, overall, very undisciplined day. I was green, luckily, but that doesn't excuse all the mistakes I made. And I have to keep working on it. I have to keep journaling it. And then sooner than later, all of these things are going to go away. Because I would have blown my account on anything that happened today. Because of the way I just, like, for example, if I was trading a couple months ago, I used to trade at 8 a.m. So I would have treated this as manipulation, go long, and then just get crushed. Because I'd probably target these highs, not realizing everything else that happened, not understanding the higher time frame. And then even if I did what I did today back then, trading after 11, I would have gotten destroyed in this consolidation. I wouldn't know where to put my stop, nothing. So I'm not going to sit here and bash myself because I know I've been improving, but it's just the small things like this. But yeah, that's about it. Honestly, price did really well today. Like, I wish I took this long, but since I don't trade Asia, I didn't want to. This was honestly an amazing long. If I traded the 2 p.m. range, this would have been it's not strong manipulation, but it would have been good enough. Long up to Monday's high. And then, yeah, that short, but I should have avoided ever entering anything here. Or long. There was a good trade long here. It's just that it's just too, like, not for me. I would have been trying to hold on to Monday's low. But yeah, no, today really just showed me that honestly I would have avoided entering anything. Like, I would have avoided that first loss if I entered there. And then it still would have been against my rules because I'm not trading inside of a range. But it would have been higher probability to just wait for something. There was microcycle here. Should have just waited for that and then gone short. But I didn't. And then instead of targeting Monday's low, even though it already got taken out, like, I don't even think there was any other draws. Well, that clearly wasn't going to happen. And I wouldn't expect the SMR to get taken out. But yeah, that's about it.